Hello, all souls. This past weekend, when Pastor Will was talking about our first emotional response to the current crisis, he asked us to think of one word that came to mind. And the word that came to me was sad. I spent some time thinking about why I made that response, and I thought I'd share with you some of my thoughts. As Pastor Will reminded us, Jesus was called the man of sorrows. And there's something about that that has always comforted me. It has reminded me that he, who was fully human as well as fully God, experienced emotions just like mine. And that, like us, when hard times came, when challenges arose, his response was a normal human response. He was a man of great compassion and deep regard for the men and the women with whom he came in contact. And because he could see into the hearts and minds of those with whom he lived, he understood that there was deep suffering in every life, just like ours, just like today. And his love left him feeling sorrowful at the ways in which we were separated from our Heavenly Father, from the ways in which we're separated from our own true selves, from the ways in which we suffer with loss, with horror, with destruction, with injustice, with illness, with death. And so feeling sad started to feel like maybe that was completely normal. And then, of course, Pastor Will, as he went on in his sermon, he reminded us of Jesus and the man of sorrows, and he reminded us that it would be perfectly normal to mourn when there is loss, to mourn when there is uncertainty, to mourn when life hands us something that breaks our hearts. Now, the Bible tells us that there is an antidote to fear, to depression, to loneliness. In fact, it tells us that God has not made us to be fearful, but to have power and love and a sound mind. So how do we integrate the healthy and normal need to be sorrowful and to mourn, to lament, with what the Bible commands us to do, which is to rejoice always? I believe that our rejoicing is not supposed to be in the circumstances. That doesn't make sense. How do we rejoice in the face of death? Our rejoicing is to be in who God is, in his unchanging nature, in his daily faithfulness, and his sufficiency, in his grace, and his love for us. We are to rejoice in who he is, in spite of the circumstances. And scriptures remind us that the eye is the lamp of the body, and that if we use our eyes to look at light, our souls will be filled with light. If we use our eyes to look at darkness, our souls will be filled with darkness. We can choose what we are going to concentrate on and the ways in which we are going to use our physical bodies to feed our souls and our spirits. We're not to deny the reality of loss and struggle, of concern, but we are to rejoice in the day and God's goodness, in the sufficiency of his grace, in the fact that his mercies are new every single day, and that he promises he'll never be separated from us, no matter what. So be blessed in the knowledge that you are held by the one who upholds the entire universe by the breath of his mouth, and he has called you by name.